week. And the hope is that when I acknowledge all the amazing things that happen around me, that they will continue to grow, or thus is the theory. Excuse me. And I hope that for you guys that are watching, you get inspired to grow the gratitude in your life as well. So here we are, growing gratitude in my PJ sweatshirt, in my dirty hair, and none of it matters because we're here together and we're going to talk about the stuff that makes life worth living. Yay. So welcome back, you guys. I feel like it's been a hot bit since I did gratitude. It's probably only been a week, or I missed 1 week or whatever, but it feels really long. Anyway, so here I am, and let's get started. This week was an interesting week for me. I have kind of settled into a routine, you guys. And we know when we kind of go through transitions, there's always that kind of discomfort as we leave our old routine that we sort of were attached to. And then, of course, there is the anxiety that comes with creating a new routine until it actually becomes a routine. And I think I've entered into that phase, and I am so grateful. I think that's where my first gratitude is going to go today. Good morning, Bill. It's sort of like, man, I am just so grateful that things are establishing a pattern. Like my poor little brain doesn't know what to do when there aren't any patterns to sort of recognize. So all my brain does is to sort of seek out those patterns that I recognize. And so it's been a hot bit, you know. But what's been really fun is two things. Two other little pattern pieces have sort of come to play. And I love that, right? So I told you, just finished saying how much I like patterns and all of that stuff. And so without a routine, I'm lost. But what's been interesting is that a lot of the patterns that I know about animal medical stuff have started to come forward again. You guys, it's like endless. I cannot believe what my brain held on to and what keeps coming forward. It's insane. But there are certain patterns of behavior and patterns of symptomology that we look for that when we see, they kind of direct you in some idea of what might be going on. And that's all coming back, you guys. Twice this week, I was like, that's a collection of symptoms. I know it kind of sounds like this, right? And it ended up being that thing. And so I was having a lot of success in that, and I feel really good about it. I also want to say that I made my first big mistake at work, right? And I've sort of been like slightly beating myself up a little bit from it, and trying to remind myself, don't stay in the past, take the lesson from it, all of that stuff. But I also want to let you guys know that I processed my mistake differently this time, and I responded to my mistake differently this time. And remember how I talk about more about resilience, and I talk about the ability to get up well, right? I think we cannot avoid making mistakes. I think we cannot avoid falling down. I think if you are living your life and you are taking risks and you are actually going out there and doing things, mistakes and falls cannot be avoided. That's just fact. And so the only thing that we have that we can really work on is our response to those things, and how we choose to respond and handle them. And I got to tell you guys, this week, I'm really proud of myself for the way I handled it. I just said, you know what? It's probably me. I made the mistake. And then it was me. And I said, oh my goodness, I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. And that was it. I'm a human. I'm allowed to make mistakes. And you want to know what? Two things happened. First of all, I felt better, right? It was a really, even though I was still like, okay, repeat the mistake you made. It was more like repeat the mistake you made so that next time you do it different. Right? It was like a memorization rather than a, you're an idiot, you're a moron, how could you do that? You should quit now, blah, 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 blah. All those big escalations from the mistake. And I didn't allow them. And I just owned my mistake and went on with my day. And I got to tell you guys, it feels amazeballs. So for that, I have gratitude too, right? And I'm entirely grateful for learning how to be resilient from mistakes and how to get up well. Getting up well makes the mistake less painful. Just letting you know. Thought you should all have that information out there. When you get up with what you consider class, and when you get up better than you used to get up, that's better almost than really anything at all, right? It certainly makes the mistake feel smaller. So that's gratitude number 2 for that. I also have tons of gratitude for my neighbor. I just want to share that. I live next to the most amazing set of neighbors. They are so kind to Antonio and I, and they take care of the dogs when we can't be home. And we do things for each other all like throughout the year. And what I want to say is that when Antonio and I moved here, I was already basically without any family, right? Everyone had pretty much passed away, and the rest of them sort of lived far away. That tiny handful of folks that I don't really know so well. And then Antonio has his family, which sort of became my temporary family for a little bit, but we weren't there very long. And then we moved here to Colorado. So they're like our family here, right? And so we're always doing things for each other. And do you need anything from the store? And what can I bring you? And are you okay today? And you want to go for a hike? And all of these other things. And I am just so grateful for them being there. And they're a little on the older side, so I'm grateful that we get to be there for them too. And so I'm really grateful for my neighbors. I feel lucky for the exact house we picked, because we got these amazing neighbors next door that this week, a couple of times I just really needed their voices, and a couple of times I just was feeling a little bit like lonely, not singularly lonely, but like our grouping, our pack was sort of lonely and kind of fleeing, that's not the word I mean. We were kind of free and just free floating, right? And I just enjoy that I have that sense of family here a little bit now that I didn't have for when we first moved out here, and it was a little bit sad and lonely. And so I'm grateful for my next door neighbors. I sure love them a lot. And so shout out to them, and really just they are part of why I love my house so much, which is so weird, but they are. So I'm grateful for them. And let's see, what else do I have this week? Antonio's doing great. Oh, I'm grateful for our new hire down at the shack. Yay. So you guys, Antonio's been having to cover one shift because one of the people that we got as an employee when we first started actually left for nursing school. How dare she have a life? And so she left for nursing school, and we needed to have a replacement, and we found a replacement. I am so grateful for this new part-time person, because it means the difference between Antonio and I having no time together when we're both off, or not both having all time off together, I should say, to being able to spend some portions of our days off together. So Antonio was covering Saturday and Sunday, and this month I'm off on mostly Saturdays and Sundays. Next month I have a couple of Saturdays. And so what was happening is that I would have off and Antonio would be too busy. So I have off a couple of days during the week. And if he's busy then, that's fine, because I'm usually busy with his autism stuff, or I'm busy with you know, the second job of autism in some way, shape, or form. But on the weekends, it was getting really sad that we weren't having time to spend with each other on our days off. And so I'm grateful that we have this new employee, which means, doesn't mean that Antonio doesn't have to run over there and do things all the time, because he does. But it's the difference between him having to run over there and do a quick errand and come back home, but versus having to go over there and stay for 5 or 6 hours, and us not being able to spend any time together. So excuse me. I am so grateful for this new employee and for the time that Antonio and I get to spend together, because I don't like a lot of people out there in the world, as you guys may know, and he's one of the few people that in real life I actually enjoy spending time with. So I was excited about that, and I'm going to go actually do that right now. I know this is a very quick, short gratitude, but my life is becoming more routinized. And as it's becoming more routinized, things are falling into place. And I don't feel that feeling of, oh my God, I got to get through it. Oh my God, I need all the help I can get. I'm starting to be comfortable at the new job and comfortable with the new routine. And the dogs are getting comfortable with the new routine. And all of these things are happening around it. And so this week, my gratitudes are small, but really important. Like, my list isn't very long, but the ones that made the list are so huge to me. And I don't think, because sometimes I think, because I do this so early in the morning on Sunday, I'm not clear enough with you guys about how impactful some of these gratitudes are for me. But I cannot explain to you what it feels like to be someone who's lost all their family and you're free floating in the world. I don't know what that fuzz was, but I know you guys all saw it, because I saw it. So like, you're free floating. So like, when my mom died and my grandma died, and I was sort of like, that was my family, and I was free floating for a while there, and free floating isn't a good time when you're an autistic person. It's really, actually, I'm going to take that back. Free floating is not a good time when you're human. It's really hard to feel not attached to things, to feel like you don't belong anywhere, to not feel grounded in yourself or grounded in your home base or any of those things. And that was really, really uncomfortable for me for a very long time. Actually, it was a very short time, but very uncomfortable, I guess. And when I think about it relatively, but having Antonio in my life made me start to feel grounded again, and like I had a purpose for being here as a human. And now this family that I'm building up here in my little town, right? Even though it doesn't seem like a big, huge deal, for me, it's a big, huge deal. So I know that I need to do better about kind of explaining how big these things are for me, but I want you to think about that a little bit, because how do we emphasize when we talk about our gratitudes the extent to which we are grateful about the things, right? Like sometimes we have relatively small gratitudes. Like if I was going to include a small gratitude this week, it would be that Friday when I was really tired and not feeling so great because there was rain coming. We had a nice slow-ish day at the vet's office, and we didn't have the surgery, which was nice, and things like that. And those are little gratitudes that get us through our days. But these bigger ones that I talk about, right? These bigger ones of feeling like I'm back in routine, or that I now have family, right? And that I love my neighbors. They're of a different scope than those smaller gratitudes. I mean, not that the small gratitudes aren't important, because they are very important. But I don't know how to get it across to you guys, the difference between my smaller gratitudes and the ones that feel universal to me and feel large in scope. So I'll have to work on that, but know that this week was a week of really large in scope gratitudes. And that the small ones were there, and I'm sure, and I could have counted them and kept a list and all of those things. But these large scope ones were really important to me. And I realized the impact that they have on my life, and that was really the important piece. So I hope you guys have gotten something out of gratitude today. I realize that it's very short, and that is because I'm very tired and my brain is not yet awake all the way. And I didn't keep a list this week. So I will do better for next week. Hopefully I will have a longer list and a longer gratitude. But it is my day off, and today Antonio is also off. So I am going to take as much advantage of that as possible and go hang out with him. We're going to go have a nice breakfast. Not go anywhere. We're going to have breakfast upstairs, but the time to eat breakfast together. We haven't had that for weeks. And all of that is going to be really nice. So what I want to say to you guys is take a moment today and think about your gratitudes, big and small. Think about the ones that are so large in scope, you couldn't define them to somebody else. You couldn't explain them fully to someone else. They would never really grasp the scope of it unless, with the words that we are limited to. And then think about the little ones. Think about the things that, get you through your day. Like, oh, today, the longest light in my town was green when I got there. Today, my wife made me dinner. Today, my brother or sister walked the dog for me. Today, right? Let's think about the little ones and let's think about the big ones. And when you're thinking about the big ones and you're thinking about their impact, I want you to think a little bit about how you would express that impact to somebody else. How could you express the scope to somebody else of when it's a large enough gratitude? I want you to think about that a little bit, because big ones and small ones are important. They make up our days. The small ones keep us motivated, and the large ones blow our minds. And so we need to think about the scope as well as just the gratitudes themselves. Anyway, you guys, I am running out of voice. I am way thirsty and super hungry for breakfast this morning. So I'm going to take my Sunday hair don't care and my sleep sweatshirt and go get some breakfast and coffee with Antonio upstairs. In the meantime, I hope you guys take some time today to think about the gratitudes in your life, the big ones and the small ones. And maybe take some time to acknowledge them out loud, if not publicly like I do, but at least take some time today, think about the things that got you through your week and why you think that is. And then, of course, spend the rest of your Sunday seeking joy, creating joy, sharing joy, all the joys, because that's what Sundays are for. So please go ahead and do that for yourselves. And then, of course, I look forward to seeing you guys out and about on the interweb. And of course, I'll be back here on Tuesday, not Tuesday, rewind. I will be back here again on Wednesday for Being Back Alive at 11 o'clock MST. And then, of course, we'll be back next Sunday with the next Growing Gratitude. This week is the June seminar, Decision Making Decoded. And that will be this Wednesday at 10 a.m. MST. I am then going to be taking a break for the summer on seminars because it seems like registration kind of dropped off. I think people are out enjoying the weather and being off and things like that. So I will return to the seminars again in September when I come back to you with the Self-Defined Living course live. Yay, you guys. That's about it. Newsletter comes out at the end of this week, beginning of next week. So if you would like to be a participant in my free newsletter, please head over to my website at beccalaurie.com. While you're there, you can use the contact page to get in touch with me directly. You can check out my social media, my writing, the Redbubble store, the course, my Ko-Fi page. What the heck else is on there? The newsletter, everything else is on there. So head over to beccalaurie.com. You can check out all of that stuff. And hopefully I'll see some of you guys at the seminar this Wednesday. Fun times. Have a great rest of your Sunday, you guys. I will see you out and about out there. Of course, your thumbs up mean the world to me. Your shares mean the world to me. Please let me know I'm doing some stuff that you'd like me to keep doing. Otherwise, I kind of wonder why I'm doing this. All right, you guys. Until then, have an amazing rest of your Sunday, and I will see you on Wednesday. Have a good one, you guys. Bye.